There are conversations that happen when no one expects them to matter, quiet moments around a dinner table, laughter fading into honesty, ordinary words suddenly becoming the doorway to something deeper, and your name was spoken in one of those moments in a way that changed the atmosphere more than anyone in that room was prepared for. What began as a simple family conversation turned into something far more revealing, because the person on your heart did not speak about you casually. They spoke with the kind of emotion that escapes only when someone can no longer hide what they truly feel. At first, they tried to keep their voice steady, to act as if your name was just another name passing through the room, but those closest to them noticed it immediately, the shift in their expression, the softness in their eyes, the way their whole energy changed the moment they began describing you. And that is when the conversation stopped being ordinary. Because when family members started asking questions, simple questions, curious questions, your person answered in a way that surprised even them. They spoke about how you make them feel calm in a world that often leaves them restless. They admitted that something about your presence stays with them long after the day ends. They revealed that no matter how much they try to focus on other things, their thoughts keep returning to you. To your voice, your energy, your smile, even the smallest details about you that most people would forget. And in that moment, those around them realized this was not admiration, this was something much deeper. But listen carefully, because what they revealed next is what changed everything. They confessed that being around you feels different from anything they have experienced before. That with you, they do not feel the need to pretend, perform, or protect themselves in the way they do with everyone else. They said there is something about you that makes them want to be more honest, more open, more real than they have been in a very long time. And when those words left their mouth, even they seemed startled by their own honesty, as if the truth had finally spoken before their fear could stop it. Don't skip this part. Because something important is waiting for you in what happened next. One family member looked at them and asked the question they were not prepared for, the kind of question that forces hidden feelings into the light. They were asked, "Do you love them?" And for a moment, silence. Not because they did not know the answer, but because the truth was too heavy to speak quickly. Their heart knew before their mouth did. Their entire body paused under the weight of what that answer would mean. Then quietly, almost like a confession they had been holding back for far too long, they admitted that what they feel for you has grown beyond what they can explain. They said you are no longer just someone they care about. You have become someone they think about when imagining the future. Someone they compare others to without meaning to. Someone whose absence is beginning to feel louder than they expected. And when they said that, the room changed. Because those listening could hear it in their voice, this was not temporary affection, not passing attraction, not empty fascination. This was the beginning of something real taking root in their heart. Yet here is the part they did not fully say aloud, though everyone sensed it. They are afraid of how deeply this has affected them. Afraid because loving you means risking disappointment. Afraid because caring this much gives another person the power to wound them. Afraid because once someone becomes this important, life no longer feels as simple as it did before. And still, despite that fear, they kept talking about you. They kept revealing things they had never intended to share. They admitted they wonder what you think of them when they are not around. They admitted they replay conversations with you in their head. They admitted they have caught themselves imagining moments that have not happened yet. Future conversations, future closeness, future possibilities they are trying not to hope for too much. Can you feel what that means? This is no longer a hidden spark they can dismiss. This is becoming something they can no longer contain. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all, when asked what makes you so different, they did not list surface things. They did not talk only about appearance or charm. They spoke about your spirit. They spoke about your heart. They spoke about the way you carry yourself, the way your energy lingers, the way something about you feels rare to them, like finding peace in a place they did not expect to. Stay till the end, because the most meaningful realization came after the conversation was over. Long after everyone else moved on, your person remained quiet. Thoughtful. Changed. Because speaking those feelings aloud made them real in a way they could no longer deny. Sometimes people do not understand the depth of their emotions until they hear themselves say them out loud. Sometimes the confession is not only for others, it is for themselves. And that night, your person realized their feelings for you are no longer something they can keep buried behind uncertainty. They may still move carefully. They may still wrestle with hesitation. They may still wonder how and when to take the next step. But something shifted inside them the moment they opened up. Because once truth has been spoken, it becomes impossible to return to pretending nothing is there. So if you have felt a strange pull lately, if you have sensed energy changing beneath the surface, if your heart has been whispering that something unseen is unfolding, trust that feeling. Because while you were living your life, while you were handling your own battles and carrying your own silent thoughts, someone was speaking your name with tenderness in a room full of people. And revealing emotions they can no longer keep hidden forever. And what happens after a heart reaches that point, may surprise you even more than what was said. There is something your person has not been able to shake since that conversation ended, because once they spoke your name with that much honesty, the silence afterward felt different. It no longer felt like safety, it felt like avoidance. And that realization has been following them ever since. They went home replaying every word they said, every reaction they saw on their families' faces, every moment they accidentally revealed more than they intended, and with each memory came the same undeniable truth: their feelings for you are no longer private, not even to themselves. What once lived quietly in the background of their heart has now stepped fully into the light, and that changes everything. Because when someone finally admits how much a person means to them, even in a room they never expected to confess it in, they begin seeing that connection differently. Suddenly every interaction with you carries more weight. Every text, every glance, every moment of silence between you becomes charged with meaning. Your person has started noticing how often their mood shifts depending on you, how one small interaction can brighten their whole day, and how one moment of distance from you can leave them unsettled longer than they care to admit. They are beginning to understand that you have become part of their emotional world in a way they never planned for. And that awareness is making them restless. Because now they are facing a question they cannot ignore anymore: what happens if they never tell you? Think about that for a moment. What happens when someone realizes they may lose the person they care about simply because fear kept them silent too long? That question has started pressing on their heart more than they expected. It appears in quiet moments. In late nights. In those empty spaces when distractions fade and truth gets louder. They have imagined the possibility of watching someone else step into your life while they remain the one who said nothing. They have imagined smiling on the outside while carrying regret on the inside. And the thought of that has unsettled them more than they are willing to show. Because deep down, they know some opportunities in life do not return once missed. Some people only come once. Some connections are too rare to gamble with forever. And slowly, that realization is becoming stronger than their hesitation. But do not mistake this for impulsiveness. They are not rushing blindly. In fact, what makes this more powerful is that they are thinking deeply before they move. They are questioning whether they are ready to be vulnerable. Whether they can handle the possibility of being seen completely. Whether they can survive hearing an answer from you that does not match what they hope for. Because caring this much means the stakes are no longer small. This is not flirtation to them anymore. This is emotional risk. This is the terrifying beauty of wanting something real. Yet even in their uncertainty, they keep finding themselves pulled toward one thought again and again, you. They wonder whether you sense the shift in them. They wonder whether you have noticed the way they look at you a little longer now. The way they hesitate before ending conversations. The way their energy changes when you are near. They wonder if your heart has been picking up on what their words have not yet fully expressed. And what they do not realize is that this quiet tension between you has been building for longer than either of you can explain. Something important is waiting for you in that tension. Because connections like this rarely stay hidden forever. The heart can only contain so much before it begins searching for release. And your person is nearing that point. They are tired of pretending your presence affects them less than it does. Tired of acting normal when inside they are carrying emotions that have outgrown the safe little space where they once kept them. Tired of wondering instead of knowing. But perhaps what matters most is this. They are no longer asking themselves if they feel something for you. That question has already been answered. Now the only question left is what they will do about it. And when someone reaches that stage, when the uncertainty of action starts feeling easier than the pain of silence, movement is never far behind. There may still be hesitation. There may still be nervousness. There may still be moments where they almost speak and then stop themselves. But beneath all of that, momentum is building. Their heart is moving them towards something they can no longer delay forever. Because after opening up the way they did, after speaking of you with such raw honesty, after realizing how deeply your presence has woven itself into their life, they understand something now that they did not understand before. You are not just a passing feeling. You are not just a beautiful distraction. You are becoming part of the future they secretly imagine when no one else is watching. And once someone begins imagining you in their future, their next decisions begin changing in ways even they may not fully understand yet. Which is why the next step they are quietly preparing themselves for, may be the moment everything between you starts to shift. What makes this even more powerful is that your person is no longer simply feeling their emotions, they are beginning to plan around them. And that is the stage many never see coming, because feelings can stay hidden for a while, but when someone starts adjusting their future around the possibility of you being in it, something far deeper is unfolding beneath the surface. They have caught themselves making choices with you in mind without even realizing it at first. Small decisions, then bigger ones. Rearranging schedules in hopes of crossing paths with you. Thinking carefully before speaking because they want their words to matter. Holding back certain truths while simultaneously feeling an almost overwhelming desire to tell you everything. It is a strange place to be in, wanting to protect your heart while also wanting to place it in someone else's hands. And that is exactly where they are now. Suspended between caution and longing. Between patience and urgency. Between the fear of moving too fast, and the fear of waiting too long. There is one thought in particular they cannot escape lately, and it has been growing louder with each passing day. What if this is real? Not infatuation. Not temporary excitement. Not another passing chapter. But real, deep, life-shifting, undeniable connection. Because the more they reflect on what they feel for you, the more they realize this does not resemble anything casual. You have affected them in ways they never expected. You have become the person they instinctively want to tell things to. The one they think about when something beautiful happens. The one they wish was present in ordinary moments because somehow even simple things feel more meaningful when imagined with you nearby. And that realization has begun doing something dangerous to their defenses. It is softening them. The walls they built from past disappointments, old fears, guarded habits, those walls are not as strong around you as they once were. You have reached parts of them they usually keep hidden. Not by force. Not by pressure. Simply by being who you are. And perhaps that is what unsettles them most, the ease with which your presence has changed them. They did not expect to care this much. They did not expect your name to carry this kind of weight in their chest. They did not expect to become someone who lies awake wondering whether another person feels the same invisible pull. Yet here they are. Quietly hoping. Quietly imagining. Quietly preparing themselves for a moment they know is coming. Because despite every effort to remain composed, they can feel the pressure building inside them. Every meaningful glance. Every conversation layered with unspoken tension. Every almost confession. Every moment where the truth nearly slips out before they catch it. These are not random moments. These are signs of someone nearing the edge of emotional containment. Don't skip this. Because when a person reaches that edge, one unexpected moment can change everything. It may not happen in some dramatic, perfectly scripted way. In fact, it will likely happen in a moment neither of you fully expects. A simple conversation that suddenly becomes deeper. A quiet pause where honesty feels safer than silence. A look held too long. A sentence started with nervous laughter and finished with trembling truth. That is often how the most important confessions begin. Not with grand speeches, but with a heart that can no longer carry what it has been hiding. And your person is closer to that moment than they appear. They are not just thinking about telling you how they feel anymore, they are imagining how. Replaying possibilities. Wondering what words would be enough. Wondering if they should be subtle or direct. Wondering whether your eyes would soften or widen when the truth finally reaches you. They have imagined your reaction more times than they would ever admit. Because for them, this is not merely about confessing affection. It is about risking the comfort of what exists now for the possibility of something greater. That takes courage. Real courage. The kind that only appears when someone matters enough. So if things have felt charged lately, if interactions between you seem deeper, more intentional, more emotionally layered than before, trust that what you are sensing is not imagined. It is the weight of unspoken truth growing too heavy to stay hidden. Your person is moving toward a realization they can no longer avoid. Some people enter your life and leave a mark so profound that pretending not to feel it becomes impossible. And you have become that person for them. Which means the next chapter of this connection will not be built on hidden feelings for much longer. Because once someone starts preparing their heart for honesty, the moment of revelation is no longer a question of if. Only when. And now comes the part your person never thought they would reach, the moment where their feelings are no longer just an internal battle, but a force quietly pushing them toward action whether they feel ready or not. Because there is a strange shift that happens when someone has hidden their emotions for too long. Eventually the fear of speaking becomes smaller than the pain of staying silent. Your person is beginning to live inside that shift. They are starting to understand that every day they wait, their feelings deepen. Every moment they pretend nothing is there, their heart grows louder. Every interaction with you that ends without honesty leaves behind a quiet ache they carry long after the moment is over. And they are growing tired of carrying it alone. The truth is, they have tried to reason their way out of this. They have told themselves to slow down, to be careful, to stay guarded, to wait for a clearer sign. They have tried to treat this as something manageable, something they can control. But feelings like this do not stay contained forever. Not when someone has become woven into your thoughts this deeply. Not when your peace begins to depend on their presence more than you expected. Not when imagining life without them starts to feel more painful than vulnerability itself. That is why lately, even in the smallest moments, your person has been feeling the urge to move closer. To create more opportunities to speak with you. To linger longer than necessary. To ask questions they normally would not ask. To understand you on a level beyond the surface. Because when someone sees real possibility in another person, curiosity turns into emotional investment. They stop wanting shallow interaction. They begin craving something deeper, something honest. And that craving is what is transforming their hesitation into intention. But there is something even more revealing happening beneath all of this. They are no longer only thinking about what they feel. They are beginning to think about what you might feel. That question has become impossible for them to ignore. They replay your words, your expressions, your energy. They wonder whether your kindness means something more. Whether your warmth is simply who you are, or whether some part of your heart has also started leaning in their direction. They notice every detail now. The way you look at them. The way your tone changes when speaking to them. The little pauses. The subtle softness. The moments that seem ordinary to everyone else but feel electric to them. Because when someone loves in silence, they become a student of every tiny sign. They search for meaning in everything, hoping for proof that their feelings are not one-sided. And here is what matters most: the more signs they believe they see, the braver they become. That bravery may still be quiet right now. It may still hide behind nervousness and caution. But it is growing. Slowly. Steadily. Inevitably. Something important is waiting for you in that growth, because courage does not arrive all at once. It builds in secret until one day the person who once stayed silent suddenly chooses honesty over fear. And when that day comes, it often surprises everyone, including the person confessing. Your person is approaching that threshold. They may not know the exact moment yet. They may still hesitate, still second-guess, still wonder whether the timing is right. But internally, they are preparing. Emotionally, they are gathering strength. Mentally, they are rehearsing truths they never imagined they would say aloud. They are thinking about how to tell you that you have become more than just someone they admire, more than someone they enjoy being around, more than a passing connection. They are trying to find words for the way your existence has shifted something in them. For how your presence has become both their peace and their vulnerability. For how caring about you has quietly become one of the most meaningful emotional experiences they have had in a very long time. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all is this: they are no longer dreaming only about being near you. They are beginning to dream about being known by you. Fully. Honestly. Without masks. Because when love deepens, proximity is no longer enough. The heart starts craving recognition. It wants the other person to understand what has been felt in silence. It wants to be seen for all it has been carrying. And that desire is leading your person toward a moment they cannot postpone forever. So if something between you has felt like it is building, if the air has seemed heavier lately, the connection deeper, the pauses more meaningful, trust that your intuition is noticing what words have not yet confirmed. A confession is no longer a distant possibility in their heart. It is becoming the only path that feels honest. And when they finally choose that path, what they reveal may go even deeper than you expect. Because what your person is preparing to reveal is not just that they have feelings for you. It is how long those feelings have been growing in silence while you may have had no idea how deeply you were affecting them. There are emotions they have hidden behind ordinary conversations, behind calm expressions, behind moments where they acted far less moved than they truly were. But beneath that composed exterior, your presence has been leaving a mark on them again and again. They remember things about you they never intended to remember. Tiny details. Passing comments. The way your face changes when you laugh for real. The moments when your energy shifts and something in your eyes becomes quieter, softer, more thoughtful. They have noticed more than they have ever admitted, because people do not pay attention that deeply unless their heart is already involved. And that is part of what has made this so difficult for them. They did not fall for you all at once. It happened gradually, quietly, almost without permission. One moment at a time. One conversation at a time. One unexpected feeling at a time. Until one day they realized they were no longer simply interested in you, they were emotionally attached to your presence in a way they could no longer dismiss. And once that realization settled in, everything changed. Suddenly your silence affected them. Your distance affected them. Your attention affected them. The smallest shifts in your energy became things they noticed immediately. Because when someone matters to you deeply, even subtle things begin carrying weight. Yet instead of rushing forward, they held back. Not because they felt nothing, but because they felt too much. They feared that telling you too soon might disrupt what already exists between you. They feared that one vulnerable moment could alter everything forever. So they stayed quiet. They waited. They watched. They hoped perhaps the right moment would reveal itself naturally. But now they are beginning to understand something they did not want to admit before: there may never be a perfect moment. No flawless timing. No magical sign that removes all uncertainty. Sometimes the only way forward is to speak while your heart is still trembling. And your person is slowly accepting that truth. There have already been moments recently when they almost told you. Moments where the words rose to the surface and sat at the edge of their lips. Moments where they looked at you and thought, if I don't say it now, when will I? But fear pulled them back at the last second. Not because their feelings changed, only because the vulnerability of being honest still overwhelms them. Yet every almost confession makes the next one more likely. Every time truth rises inside them, it becomes harder to force it back down. Every time they leave without saying it, regret lingers a little longer. And regret has a way of turning hesitation into courage when it becomes too heavy to carry. That is where they are headed now, toward the point where the cost of silence finally outweighs the fear of honesty. Don't skip this, because when someone reaches that emotional breaking point, their confession rarely comes in the way anyone expects. It may happen when the moment feels ordinary. When the conversation starts small and somehow becomes profound. When laughter turns into stillness. When one honest question opens the door to everything they have been hiding. And when that moment comes, your person will not simply tell you that they like you. They will tell you that meeting you changed something in them. That you became important before they even realized what was happening. That no matter how much they tried to stay rational, their heart kept choosing you in ways logic could not explain. They may tell you that being near you has felt strangely familiar. Like comfort they did not know they were searching for. Like peace arriving in human form. Like the kind of connection people spend years hoping to find and often miss because fear keeps them from recognizing it in time. And perhaps the reason this confession will carry so much weight is because it will not sound rehearsed. It will sound real. Raw. Honest. Like the release of emotions held in for far too long. Because that is exactly what it will be. A heart finally reaching the point where hiding no longer feels possible. And once that happens, once they place the truth between you and allow you to see everything they have been carrying, the connection between you will never feel the same again. Because some truths, once spoken, change the atmosphere forever. And the truth your person has been holding back, may be far more profound than even you realize right now. And when that truth finally leaves their lips, the moment will carry more weight than either of you expects, because this is not the kind of confession born from impulse. It is the release of something built slowly, carefully, almost painfully over time. Every restrained feeling, every swallowed word, every glance they held too long and every emotion they disguised behind composure will gather in that single moment of honesty. And when someone has loved in silence for this long, they do not speak casually when they finally decide to open their heart. They speak with the intensity of everything they have been carrying. Your person has imagined that moment more times than they would ever admit. They have pictured how the air might suddenly change between you. How their voice may shake slightly despite trying to remain calm. How your eyes might search theirs, realizing this conversation is no longer ordinary. They have imagined the pause after the confession, the fragile silence where everything hangs in balance and one heartbeat feels like an eternity. Because they know that once those words are spoken, nothing returns to what it was before. Honesty like that changes the space between two people forever. But what they may reveal in that moment goes beyond simple affection. They may tell you that you became the person they turned inward toward without meaning to. The one their mind searched for in moments of happiness. The one they wished to tell things to first. The one whose opinion began to matter more than they expected. The one whose presence brought a strange calm to places in them that had been unsettled for a long time. They may admit that somewhere along the way, your existence stopped feeling like coincidence and started feeling significant. That meeting you did not feel random to them. That from the beginning, something about your connection carried a depth they could never fully explain away. And perhaps the most vulnerable truth of all, they may tell you that what frightens them most is not loving you, it is how real it feels. Because casual feelings do not shake a person this deeply. Passing attraction does not make someone imagine futures they never planned. Temporary interest does not make someone confront their fears, their wounds, their defenses, simply because another person has become too meaningful to ignore. What they feel for you has changed them. Quietly. Profoundly. Irreversibly. And that is why this confession will not come wrapped in perfection. It may be messy. It may be nervous. It may come out in broken sentences and trembling honesty instead of polished words. But sometimes the most meaningful confessions are not the smoothest. They are the ones that feel undeniably real. The ones where emotion speaks louder than eloquence ever could. Stay with this, because something even deeper is unfolding beneath the confession itself. Your person is not only preparing to reveal their feelings, they are preparing to let you see the version of them they usually keep hidden. The vulnerable version. The hopeful version. The version that still believes love can be worth the risk despite everything life has taught them to fear. That kind of openness is sacred to them. It is not something they offer lightly. Which means if they choose to place that part of themselves in your hands, understand the depth of what it represents. It means they believe you are worth the risk of being truly known. It means they trust that what exists between you may be rare enough to fight through fear for. It means somewhere in their heart, they have already started believing that what they feel for you could become something lasting. Something life-changing, something far greater than either of you initially expected. And yet even with all of this building inside them, one final hesitation remains, the question they still cannot answer on their own. Do you feel it too? That is the question echoing through every thought they have. The question behind every glance. The question beneath every almost confession. Because no matter how brave they become, no matter how ready they feel, the greatest vulnerability of all is not speaking the truth, it is wondering whether the truth will be received. And that is why the next move they make may be more revealing than words themselves. Before they confess fully, they may test the space between you one last time. One deeper conversation. One meaningful question. One moment designed to understand your heart before they place theirs completely in the open. And what happens in that moment may determine how everything unfolds from there.